Man was sentenced to life for sex trafficking. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
An Atlanta man will spend the rest of his life behind bars after a jury found him guilty of sex trafficking a young Cobb County teen.
Fox 5's Kevin Stewart joins us live from Douglas County, where that crime, Kevin, took place.
Yeah, that's right. You know, this is a week-long trial that finally came to an end, and it is a clear reminder of how sobering it is that we could have something like this happen in our community. Take a listen. This is where it all ended. An undercover sting in 2023 at the Quality Inn in Lithia Springs. Detectives found an online ad for the 15-year-old victim being sold for sex, a runaway from her Cobb County home. Deputies rescued the child from Talisa Anderson at the inn. Further investigation eventually led them to Ramirez Morris.
Let me say this. For Talisa Anderson and Ramirez Morris, I honestly, bro, I have a special thing in my heart for kids, for children. That's why I was donating 50 cents a day to Darnell Johnson back in 2004. I've always had a passion for children. There has to be a special place in hell for people that do stuff like this. It gotta be. Has to be a special place in hell for people that do stuff like this. It's got to be a special room down there for the monsters that participate in this type of activity. Honest to God. Think about this for a second. Let's play the rest of the clip and then we're going to get there.
Anderson pled guilty to trafficking, and a jury just found Morris guilty of trafficking. They had pimped out the child for 2 months.
They took her, then took the victim to get her hair done. They took her to get her nails done. They took her to get new clothes.
This all began at home for the girl, as in the apartment where she lived. Anderson worked in the leasing office.
He's the person that they would have to go to turn in their checks for rent.
The 15-year-old victim.
Think about that for a second. The woman, this is how rings work, and this is why you got to be vigilant. This is why you got to be careful. This is why the name of this show is called, the theme of the show is called Threats. The woman worked in a leasing office, and she is in a relationship with the man who was going to steal the girl and pimp her out. The woman worked in a leasing office, and she's scouting and hunting for the men that are going to pimp her out. This is why I don't trust nobody. This is why I got to have social capital with you for an extended period of time before I can start to bring you around my family. I don't know you. I don't know what you got going on. I don't know who you working for. I don't know who you scouting for. I don't know nothing about you. It's people that y'all walk past every single day. People that y'all walk past every single day, and one of them got somebody in their basement chained to a radiator.
Built a trust after confiding with Anderson about her troubles.
It became a recruiting tactic that they would use to try to recruit the victim into trafficking.
Connecting her with Anderson's boyfriend and pimp, Ramirez Morris.
What is commonly referred to as the bottom girl, someone in like Miss Anderson's position, someone who has already been working in the life, often being used as that kind of middleman to recruit.
ADA Hicks says this case can serve as a lesson to families.
Educate your children on what a trusted adult is. And then also, not just to families, but anybody in the community, when you see signs, to say something.
Now, Anderson was sentenced to 25 years in prison, with the first 5 years to serve. Going live.
And I guess she probably gonna get a lighter sentence, right? She got 25 years. She was the first point of contact. I believe that she should have got the same sentence as he got. He got life, and she got 25 years. But her first 5 years, she got to serve, and then she can get out after that. So why? Okay, so let me ask y'all a question, because this is the difference. Let me get their mugshot up here. Why didn't she get the same sentence that he got? I want to know. I'm going to get to the tax bill next. Why didn't she get the same sentence that he got? He got life. She got 25, but she only got to serve 5, and then she going to get on parole and be out on the streets. I think she should have got the same sentence. But we as a society, we often go softer on women, which then compels them to continue to do the stuff that they're doing. She meets the girl. The girl is continuing to go down and talk to her, to Lisa, because the girl is confiding in her about the troubles that she's having in her life and in her household. So she looks at her, and this is the betrayal. This young girl at some point is going to grow up, and they're going to walk around, and they're going to be forgotten, right? And this is why the crime is so egregious. The crime is not just bad because of what was done. And I'm going to cover every part of this crime and what makes it so horrible. The crime is not just bad because of what was done to her and the fact that it was other men that was looking at her and was like, oh yeah, I want to bust it down for a real one. The crime is not just so bad because she was being pimped and prostituted. The crime is horrible because the girl got to live with this for the rest of her life. Somehow, some way, she got to make sense of her life. And the little girl is innocent because she a child. So now she got to make sense of her life because she got to go and figure it out. She got all of these bodies over the last 2 months of niggas that have been doing all kind of nasty stuff to her. And she'll never trust again because not only did the man take her to get her hair done and her nails done and made her feel pretty so that he can call a John over there to do God knows what with her, but the woman betrayed her by then taking her over to the man that then used her up and did that. And she got to live with that for the rest of her life. She got to try to make sense of it. She got to try to have a relationship. At some point, she might want to try to get married, and it's not even her fault. It's not even her fault. She trusted somebody that was actually working in a trusted position that took advantage of her and used her to ultimately let other dudes get and use her and abuse her. And let's be clear, I don't believe that it was only other guys that was using her and abuse her. I'm pretty sure that Ramirez Morris got some taste for himself. Talisa might have even used her up a little bit for herself. They never looked at her as a human being. They never looked at her as a child. They never looked at her as innocent. They looked at her as an object. She was no different than something that you can get into the store and then discard into the garbage when they were done with her. The only reason that she was valuable to them is because she was bringing in resources and she was filling a need. That's why the crime is so ugly and evil, is because you used a child like an object. You discarded it, and that child is still got to go through life, and who knows what their life is going to become. Now, we'll sit here and we'll see her walking the streets maybe one day, God forbid, or we'll see some stuff play out the way that it play out, God forbid, and then we going to automatically judge her and we going to say, you know what? She's a horrible human being, but we don't know the backstory, and that's the problem. That's the true problem. The true, real broken nature of it is because she'll never really heal from it. She'll always have those scars, those mental scars, those emotional scars, the spiritual scars, and the physical scars. The physical probably isn't even isn't as bad as the emotional and the brokenness that come from the spirit. They probably broke that little girl's spirit. You broke her innocence. You took her life. You took her whole future away from you for $40 at a time. It's horrible. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And this is why, again, I had that conversation. I was inspired by the conversation that we had last night on the Q show about the importance of making sure that you do preventative, because we can always talk about, oh man, well, we need to get on the people that did it, but that's after it had already happened. I don't want you to ever be in that situation in the first place. And so the whole preventative measures and the whole preventative thing that guys try to tell women on a regular basis is to protect you and to protect the people that are the most vulnerable amongst us. Real talk. Break my heart. Absolutely breaks my heart. Can't stand it. That's why I was so aggravated at the Biden administration. Not only did they let in a whole bunch of illegal migrants, but they had over 300,000 children that they couldn't find. What do you think happened to them? 300,000? They say that a child in a trafficking scheme, especially coming across the border, is more valuable than any level of fentanyl and dope. Go watch the documentaries. Go look at Netflix. Go look at some of them on YouTube. Go look at the Vice, the old Vice documentaries. They say a child, listen to how demonic this is. A child is more valuable than any type of drug that you can get over here in the border. So all of these stupid liberals that was sitting here saying, oh no, it's okay, just open it up. You don't even realize how many people suffered and how many children's innocence was taken and how many bodies is probably buried as a result of all of this stupid stuff that was happening during the Biden administration. But y'all won't call Kamala Harris, who was the border czar, and you won't call Biden out on their BS. You won't say anything about them, but you'll get mad at Trump for employing and deploying Tom Homan to go and find those 300,000 children, right? They the demons.